What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly Sports History for May 28th, 2025. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Wednesday edition of the podcast. Happy hump day to everyone out there. It's a rainy, dreary, chilly, not summer-like morning. But if you look at the 10-day forecast, I saw some 90s on the horizon. So we can just get through this little bit of a stretch. The beautiful weather is coming. All right, so let's go right into the Phils. I shouldn't say not a good game. The game itself was good, but early in the game, Bryce got hit in that surgically repaired elbow, left the game by Spencer Strider. X-rays were negative, which is a good thing. They're calling it a contusion, but I guess we'll get more info today if we see if it swells or whatever. But not a good way to start that game, but to the Phils' credit, they got it done. Ranger Suarez was outstanding. The bullpen was outstanding. Ranger went 6 innings, struck out 8, didn't give up a run. The bullpen held it down. Good win against a decent team. And now I'm sure there's going to be people out there now. They're like, oh, the Braves, they're not that good this year, blah, blah, blah. This is what we wanted. They come out, set the tone against the Braves, and I felt a different vibe in this Braves game. And I feel like the past few years, the Braves have owned the Phillies in the regular season. If you go back to 2022, the Braves have literally owned the Phillies. Even if you go back to 2021, when the Braves got hot and overtook the Phillies there near the end. So to have there was just like an era of confidence about what this team was doing yesterday. 2-0 win. They were patient at the plate more so than anything. And I don't know, you could tell by body language on Strider. I'm sure he was a little shook from hitting Bryce, but almost like a frustration. And even the relievers, because they're not used to the Phillies being that way. They're used to them chasing. So the fact that Stott worked an 11 pitch walk, they were able to get a run walked in the bottom of the 8th just by being patient and not swinging at bad pitches. Lots of good things to take away from this game. Plus, they beat the Braves, which always a good thing because they're right up there to me with the Mets as far as a rival. But good win. They look to take the series tonight. Zach Wheeler is on the mound. And like I said, I just very, very impressed with the pitching. The plate discipline, I would have liked for them to have knocked more runs in, but they did what they needed to do, and that is what good teams do. If they need to be in a pitcher's duel, they'll be in a pitcher's duel and then be patient, and you saw what happened. So I will take it. We're moving on. Zach, and now you got your 2 best starters now coming up for the next 2 games. So I like the way this is playing out. But the big question now is going to be, do you retaliate for hitting Bryce? And I saw a lot of people on Twitter talking about it. That is today's question of the day, though. Should the Phillies retaliate against either Ozuna or Acuna? I say no, and here's why. I think it's one of those old school, unwritten, old baseball rules that, oh, you hit our best player, we're going to hit your best player. And maybe in certain situations, you're absolutely right. In this situation, I don't think so because he said he didn't do it on purpose. Now, I'll give you that. Nobody's going to come out and say, oh, yeah, I hit him on purpose. But you could tell he was shook a little bit after he hit, tipped his cap. If he was trying to hit him on purpose, he certainly wouldn't have reacted the way he did. But all of that aside, your bullpen is depleted. So for me, for Ranger to come right back out and hit one of those guys didn't make any sense from a strategic standpoint, because if you were not in contention, maybe I'd feel differently about it. But you're in contention. You need this game. So you cannot be getting ejected. And even coming back today, you don't want Zach Wheeler to get ejected. So I just, like I said, it's an old school thing. I don't need it. Yes, it sucks. Hopefully Bryce is back in the lineup today. Who knows? He might be a little bit sore, but I don't need any of that. But what do you think? 267-495-8531. That's the Back to the Future voice and text line. Should the Phillies retaliate against the Braves today for hitting Bryce? I say no way. Come on, man. No. I don't need it because there's too much at stake at this point, and the fact that it's not broken, if it was broken even, there's just so many different, I guess, levels to it, and to me, this is not on a retaliation level. But let me know your thoughts because I know there are a lot of old school baseball fans out there. Let me know. And then recapping yesterday's question of the day, I asked you, is this a must-win series for the Phils? It was split 50-50. Lots of people saying no, there's more pressure on the Braves, who are now 9.5 games back and trying to get back into it. I disagree. I think mentally this was a good win for the Phils. I think us as fans needed this win yesterday. I think we need them to win this series. But I think for the psyche of the team, and like I said, I saw a different vibe from that Phillies team yesterday than what I'm used to seeing against the Braves. So I think this is 100% a must-win. But thank you, as always, for participating in the question of the day. Today's question, should the Phils retaliate against the Braves? I say no way. All right, let's do some quick housekeeping. And one of the things I always strive to do on this podcast is give you accurate information. Probably made my most egregious mistake in the history of this podcast yesterday. And it was because I have a lot going on, not making excuses, but I have a lot going on in my day job, kids, sports, and things like this. Yesterday, we talked about Craig Kimbrell's 400th career save. That, in fact, was not the day of Craig Kimbrell's 400th career save. It was the day prior. So it was May 26th. So I was a day off, and what happened is the game ended late. So when I was looking in the paper, I just didn't do my due diligence. So I apologize. Still within the same 3-day span, but I want to make sure I'm giving you the accurate information. The Craig Kimbrell 400th save came in a 6-4 win. I was talking about the next night when the Phils won 2-1. So I do apologize to that. One of my sources was wrong. So sometimes I get it wrong. After almost 1,000 days, I was bound to get one wrong. But I was close. Be sure to follow me on social media, Jimbo_Mont on Twitter and TikTok. On Instagram, @PhillyJimbo. Continue to spread the word. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont. If you want to see the highlights, they are available on my other social media, or all my social media, including Facebook and LinkedIn. Good news, the Knicks are down 3-1. You gotta love it. All I know is the Pacers better close this out, because if we thought Knicks fans were going to be insufferable if they made it to the NBA Finals, can you imagine if they overcome a 3-1 deficit to make it to the NBA Finals? So let's go Pacers. Quick update, the greatest individual seasons in Philly sports history tournament is kicking off next week on Tuesday. Stay tuned this weekend. Start going over some things, unveiling brackets and things like that. Like to have a little bit of fun in the summertime. We've done lovable losers. We've done the greatest nicknames. This year it's a 48-team tournament, the greatest individual in Philly sports, major sports history. So I got 12 seasons from the Phillies, the Eagles, the Sixers, and the Flyers. You're going to decide what's the greatest season ever. That all kicks off on Tuesday. Be sure to check out lotwin.com. Get your 3D custom-made hype chains. These things are phenomenal. Great for your kids' sports. Great for fantasy football, which is, I'm getting emails from CBS already about renewing my league. So it will be here before you know it. Reach out to Lotwin. Get your custom-made fantasy football hype chain. Get it made for swim season, whatever you got. Gag gifts to annoy your wife, annoy your kids. Whatever you got to do, get your custom-made hype chains. Lotwin.com. And use the promo code CCCPOD to take 10% off of your order. And I'm very, very close, just in time for the start of the summer. We may have a new sponsor for all of you shore people out there. So stay tuned for that. Working out details, but I'm excited to bring these guys on. Union in action tonight up in Toronto. Very winnable game for them as they look to stay atop the MLS standings. Hopefully they can just close out a game. They've had a couple games now, specifically the last one against Miami, but a couple in the past few weeks where they've had the lead late and lost it. So maybe this is a get-right spot against Toronto for the Union. All right, yesterday's trivia answer. I asked you who were the top 5 in Phillies career saves, and that would be Jonathan Papelbon, Jose Mesa, Steve Bedrosian, Mitch Williams, and Brad Lidge. Thank you to everyone who put out some guesses yesterday. Had a few say Billy Wagner, but Billy Wagner I don't think was here long enough to get up. I think he's number 11 on the all-time saves list. Be sure to check out my boys over at the Clashing Conferences podcast. Great things happening on their Sports Fan Network. We are members, and this crew is just amazing. I have to say, the people involved with Clashing Conferences, members, sponsors, people that work for the Clashing Conferences, everybody is top-notch, A1. So go to clashingconferences.com, see what they have to offer, how you can get involved, become a member. They're always looking for new folks. Get your voice heard. If you ever have a lot to say and don't necessarily have the technical background to start a podcast, Clashing Conferences got you covered. If you need media services, Steven can cover you there too. Just go to clashingconferences.com for details on how you can get involved, what they can do for you, and then be sure to check out their podcast wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. And, of course, our friends at Philly Goat. What is it that they don't have? The slides for my kids came yesterday. Instant hit. They absolutely loved them. They look better than what they did on the site. Kids are happy. If you want to make your kids happy, go pick up some of those slides from Philly Goat. Give them a t-shirt to match. Get some stickers for their water bottles for the summer. Whatever you got. Dads, take care of Dad. Father's Day is coming up. Now would be the time to order so you get it in time. They have those Philly Fanatic Rocks glasses. They have the Dad collection. Some of the Dad shirts that with the old school Philly P's actually are really cool. Get a nice little red one or a maroon one. I can't do it justice. Go to Philly Goat. Check it out. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off your order. That's phillygoat.com. Promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. And that does lead us to today's trivia question. Sticking with a Phillies pitching theme. Steve Carlton won 4 Cy Youngs for the Phillies, 72, 77, 80, and 82. 3 other guys have won Cy Young for the Phillies. Who are they? Some of them are obvious. A couple of these, I don't know. But the Phillies have 4 pitchers who have won a Cy Young. Steve Carlton won 4. 3 others have won 1. Who are they? Hit me up on the Discord channel, which is live. Hit the first link in the description. Accept the invitation and come over, have some fun, talk some Philly sports with us. But let me know, who are the other 3 besides Steve Carlton to win a Cy Young in Phillies history? All right, on to May 28th. We have a few things to get to today. Some Phillies, some Flyers, and some Sixers. And first, we're going to go back to 1983. And on this day in 1983, Mike Schmidt was was perseverance personified. That's hard to say. Perseverance personified against the Expos down at the Vet. First 4 at-bats, struck out 4 times, each time on 3 pitches. Made a throwing error, very un-Schmidt-like in the 6th, but did recover to win the Gold Glove, obviously, that year. But he hit the walk-off game-winning homer in the bottom of the 9th with 2 outs. So, kids, the lesson here is stick with it. No matter how bad your day is going, you can still be the hero. As the Phillies beat the Expos on this day, thanks to a Mike Schmidt walk-off 2-run homer in the bottom of the 9th after striking out his first 4 at-bats on 3 pitches each time and making a throwing error. Mike Schmidt stuck with it and ended up being the hero of the game. And then we'll go 4 years later to 1987. Flyers fall behind early 2-0 in the first period to the Oilers and then scored 3 straight goals. Lindsey Carson, Brian Propp, and J.J. Deneau. Ron Hextall made 30 saves after that rough first period as the Flyers forced Game 7 of the Stanley Cup final. Unfortunately for the Fly Guys, it would not be meant to be. But Ron Hextall did win the Conn Smythe, but good effort, and it's all about perseverance today. If you notice, perseverance. Mike Schmidt persevered, won the game. Flyers got behind 2-0 in an elimination game and fought back. They persevered as they forced Game 7, beating the Oilers 3-2 down at the Spectrum, and the crowd was absolutely electric that day. And you know what? There's a perseverance theme here too. In 2001, AI returned from a bruised tailbone and led the Sixers to an 89-83 win to even that series against the Bucks. We talked about Game 3 the other day when Iverson didn't even come to the arena because he was afraid he was going to play and needed the rest. Not only did he come back from the injury, he had a game-high 28 points, dished out 8 assists, and was really just the difference in this game. I remember watching this, the energy level, everything was just back. So May 28th, a day of perseverance in Philly sports. Mike Schmidt overcoming an 0-for-4 day with an error to hit the game-winning 2-run homer in the bottom of the ninth. Flyers fall behind 2-0, come back and force Game 7 in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and AI comes back and grits out a gritty 89-83 win over the Bucks to even that series. They would take 2 of the next 3 to go to the NBA Finals. All right, and finally today, our Philly Sports Summertime Playlist Song of the Day, the ultimate Phillies walk-up song. Would have loved to, if there was like a tournament of walk-up songs, this one would be right up there with A-OK as the number 1 seed. And that is Kashmir by Led Zeppelin, released in 1975. Everybody knows it was Chase Utley's walk-up song for years. Never changed it. It was the most consistent thing in Phillies hit that era. It was the most consistent thing. You knew you were going to get Kashmir every time Chase Utley came up to bat. And the best to me was sometimes when there was a pitching change or a mound visit and they would just let it play, because the song itself is like 10 minutes long, and he would just, the PA speaker would just let it play. One of my favorite things, is little things that make me happy. But Kashmir by Led Zeppelin is today's Philly Sports Summertime Playlist Song of the Day. We're slowly winding it down here. This weekend, I will send the links out on all my social media and everything for the playlist on Apple and Spotify. And then, of course, got to have a bonus. Today's bonus song is Baba O'Reilly by The Who. And I chose this one because I feel like if you were doing a 70s rock playlist, it would be Kashmir, and then Baba O'Reilly would just be the next song. It just was a logical choice for me. But again, some of the older 70s rock fans out there, today is your day. But Kashmir by Led Zeppelin is today's Philly Sports Summer Song of the Day, Chase Utley's walk-up song. And I can hear Dan Baker. Ladies and gentlemen, now batting for the Phillies, second baseman, Chase Utley. All right, anyway, enough of that. May 28th was a day of perseverance for Philly sports. Mike Schmidt overcame an 0-for-4 day to hit the game-winning 2-run homer in the bottom of the ninth. Flyers battled back from being down 2-0 to score 3 straight goals and force Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Finals. And Allen Iverson came back from a bruised tailbone to lead the Sixers with 28 points, 8 assists as they evened their Eastern Conference Final with the Bucks at 2 games apiece. Be sure to hit me up on Discord. Let me know the answer to the trivia. Steve Carlton won 4 Cy Youngs with the Phillies. 3 other guys have won 3. Who are they? Well, also, let me know your thoughts, too, on the retaliation piece between the Phillies and Braves. I say no way. I mean, there's too much at stake. Your bullpen's already depleted. It's not worth it. But let me know your thoughts on the Back to the Future voice and text line 267-495-8531. It's going to be a miserable one. But like I said, that 90-degree days, they're out there. They're coming. We'll have more on the Phillies and Union tomorrow as well. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for June, pushing it a little bit here, for May 28th, 2025. My name's Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a hump day, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.